Hello and welcome to another race video. So I came into this race chasing points. I was kind of aiming for the podium, thought I might have a bit of a chance. I'm trying to reach 12 points this season to upgrade to third cat, but honestly I just didn't want to be here. I'd only had 3 hours sleep the previous night and I'd spent about 5 hours driving during the day. I was wrecked before we even started. So when the race kicked off, it went off really hard. This one guy attacked right from the gun. None of us really chased him. We kind of knew it wasn't going to stay away, to be honest. Not the right time to attack. And I went up to the front on the first hill and then mounted a bit of a chase, but you know, I wasn't going to do it all myself. So eventually I just sort of slowed down a bit and waited for someone else to come around me, and then the aim was to tuck in. So I had a bit of a plan for this race. I wanted to make the race hard, I wanted to try and get into a break, I wanted to try and establish a break or wait for somebody else to go and then follow them. But all of the kind of plans that I had kind of went out the window pretty quickly. Even just sitting in was brutal. I think I'd totally forgotten how hard this circuit was. I had fond memories from last year racing here. I did okay, it was probably the best circuit for me. But you know, I think I'd forgotten how hard racing is. Okay, so this guy on the left that's just coming into the picture, he's going to attack now. And this is the real start of the breakaway phase. So he's going really, really strong off the front. And let's see if I follow my plan to make the chase and try and form the break myself. So initially I go for it. I think, okay, right, I'm feeling good. This is what I said I was going to do. I'm going to catch back on and the two of us are going to ride away to glory and it's all going to be fantastic. I'm going to be on the podium, but I quickly realised I haven't got the fitness, and a series of people, one after the other, come past. There's 1, 2, 3. They're all doing quite big efforts to get back on. There's another one. And I am starting to panic a little bit because it's feeling a lot harder than I was expected. I'm pretty gassed. I've not made the break. That's what my thought is anyway, but there's another one coming past to try and chase back on. I've not done that. I've not able to. But actually it turns out it doesn't work out that badly for me, because there's another one going off the front and sprinting off to try and catch back on. But then when it comes down to it, what I do is I wait for these 3 riders to come through, and then I sort of let them do the work to catch me back onto the group, so I don't end up having to do that big sprint effort to try and close the gap quickly, and then only really need to make a move here when I notice the gap is pretty closable. So just lifting the watts a little bit to go past people, and we're going down the hill now, and I can just roll onto the back of the group. But whilst I'm doing all of this, trying to get back onto the group, one rider did manage to get off the front of this little breakaway and go off solo, and I think they're away for a few laps, and that's when this kind of group starts being a bit of a chase group. I think one of the main issues I had during this phase of the race was just being a bit too relaxed on the downhill and letting gaps form, so not putting in any effort here, just rolling down the hill, and as you can see there's a bit of a gap forming there. And I wasn't taking the bottom corner here too well either, so letting out a bit more of a bigger gap, and then I'm gassing it on the straight to make it back onto the group before the hill. And then it kind of went like that until about 24 minutes into the race. So every lap kind of chasing back on here, then not doing too badly on the climb, but being too gassed at the top and taking too much recovery, and then repeating the process. And I think those repeated efforts at the bottom of the hill is actually what kind of tired me out. So like here we've got a combination of me rolling down the hill at 0 watts and taking this corner way too leisurely, much slower than the other people in the group, and then having to do a bit of an effort to get back on again. And exactly the same thing happens again here. Let too big of a gap go on the corner, take it too easy, and then have to work hard on the straight to catch back onto the group. This is when I should be just sort of sitting in and taking it easy. And you can just about see there on the panel that I think it said 19.7 seconds to the solo rider off the front. And then within this group you've got the guy in the red and the guy in the black who are pretty motivated to catch the solo rider off the front. And I think at this stage you can see the guy in the white just kind of struggling to stay with it there, and I think this is where he drops out of the group. So it's just gradually thinning down until it's just, I think, just the four of us. And the others in the group, as you can see, are kind of rotating, swapping turns on the front, and I'm not contributing to this at all. I'm just sort of sitting in, and there's no kind of surprise that they want to try and shake me off the group here. And here it is, the pivotal moment of the race for me. So the guy in the black has just done a monster turn and he's pulled off, sort of waved us through, and I find myself second wheel in the group. And this guy in the red has really lifted the pace, and I thought, oh, he's got a bit of a gap here, he's really pushing it, maybe this is his attack. And so I kind of think, okay, well, I'm feeling alright, I can get on his wheel, I've been wheel sucking until now, and maybe the two of us can get away and break away from the group. So just for a moment I thought, this could be it, this could be my podium, this could be third place for me if we could just shake off the two behind us. And we sort of got away, we got right to the top of the hill, this is almost the top, but I was feeling completely gassed. I didn't really have anything left, but I thought, oh, if I could just hold the wheel, just hold the wheel. But for some reason, you know, I just didn't quite have it past this point, and I let the gap go at the top of the hill. So, you know, I've just done my effort, I've got to the top of the hill, and then I'm taking it too easy on the downhill again. This is what I've been doing for the whole race, and I sort of let him go and think, oh, well, at least he can go off and ride by himself and I'll stick with the other two. But, you know, it wasn't really by design, and then you'll see what happens here. The two guys I've just worked hard to try and drop think, oh, what's this guy doing, letting the gap go, and they've got much more energy than me, and they race back on and they're all away, and that's the end of the little breakaway action for me, and I'm riding solo for the rest of the race. And so it went like that for most of the rest of the race. I just tried to find a new rhythm, ride by myself, picked off a few lapped riders. Yeah, I'm coming up to this guy here, and I think, you know, I catch up with him and just sort of say, well, you know, do you want to ride into the till the end together? And so kind of just chilling out. I feel like I had already kind of got a big enough gap over the people that we'd dropped earlier, and so, you know, I was just riding in by myself really, and thinking, well, I'm happy with fifth, and that's that. Then after all that messing around, I kind of looked round with about 2 laps to go, and I saw a group coming up behind me with one of the riders in that we'd dropped earlier, and they were closing in, and I was like, no, I'd settled for fifth, I was happy with fifth, and you know, I've been caught late in races before and then ended up getting really rubbish results, so I had to really dig deep. I didn't want to lose it. I started pushing hard on the climbs again. So yeah, so I dug in for the last couple of laps, worked really hard, full gas, managed to hold the gap, and actually I think extended the gap a little bit, and crossed the line in 5th place, which is my best result in any race ever, and it gives me 5 points towards my the 12 that I'm looking for this season, and so I'm actually pretty happy with how it went. So thank you for watching the video. Hit like if you've ever raced on fumes before, and subscribe if you want to watch more of the journey from being a 4th cat to who knows where. Cheers, see you later.